like, you have to wear
we, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We caught Ariel adjusting her bow tie, a gift from a close friend.
it. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Conversations on Vitality. James Gardner, Ariel Jarvis, as always. All right. Today's conversation is about food, about the concept of not all food is created equal, food versus fuel, understanding what our body needs because what my body's needs is different than Ariel's and different than yours. So we're going to have a really in-depth, powerful, dense discussion. Let's kick it off, Ariel.
So we know that fuel can come in different forms. And so I like to use the analogy of like tractors and sports cars and your regular family car and maybe you have an electric car, right? There's different fuel sources for the different mechanics for different engines. And so based on your lifestyle, you as an individual, I want you to really think about a few things. Take a look at your physical composition. So, what are your goals? Are you maintaining? Are you trying to gain muscle? Or are you trying to lose fat? Or are you just happy with where you're at and you just want to maintain? The second thing is take a look at your immune system. Do you have a rocket immune system? Or is your body telling you something? Do you constantly break out in cold sores or canker sores? Or do you have warts on the bottom of your feet? Or do you have acne all over your face? Or do you have little bumps on the back of your arms? Or do you get ear infections all the time? These are telltale signs that your immune system is taking a hit. So you're not eating properly. You're not fueling properly. Take a look at your energy levels. Do you have proper optimal energy levels? Not just in the body, but in the brain. Do you feel like your brain motor systems are functioning properly? Or do you find that there's a bit of a delay, or you can't remember things, or your brain kind of feels a little bit foggy, right? These are all telltale signs that you're not fueling for you as an individual. You might be eating a certain way that somebody else needs to be eating, but you're not fueling for your engine. Okay. How about take a look at your stress? Take a look at your sleep. Take a look at your activity load, right? Do you work at a desk job? Or do you have a very active lifestyle? Maybe you're a landscaper, maybe you're in construction, maybe you work as a librarian, right? So there's so many things to consider. So we understand calories, right? You want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. We know this. Science has proven this. But not all calories are the same, okay? We also understand that in order to have certain physiological body composition changes, you need to manipulate your macronutrients, right? Otherwise, you won't actually see change, right? And you need to compile that with proper resistance training. But let's just say just the regular, mom and dad, regular job, regular people. You walk your dog, you take your kids to the park. Well, you need to take into consideration that you still need to provide fuel for the brain, 11 body systems, and 75 trillion cells. And we understand that you can get that through different forms. Number one is foods that are high in enzymes. So that would be like your fruits and vegetables. There is so much nutrition and vitamins and water, I call it water packets, in fruits and vegetables that are raw. So that doesn't mean your dried fruits. That doesn't mean, boiling the crap out of your vegetables or, right, frying them up. You want to eat them raw. And that will actually give you the best nutritional value. But sometimes, that can be a little bit tedious or maybe not as enjoyable, but it's going to give you the most nutrition. Also, making sure that you're eating proper foods for your digestion. If you're noticing that you're getting bloating after a meal or flatulence or burping, that tells me that there's something wrong with the mechanics of your stomach. You either might not be producing enough hydrochloric acid, enough pepsin, maybe not enough bicarbonate, maybe not enough enzymes. There's 4 different enzymes. There's so much that can go on. So we really want to listen to our gut. It's not just about digesting, it's also about absorbing, breaking it down, and eliminating. So when we are fueling certain foods will have a positive interaction with our gut. And so we really want to, there's no right or wrong answer here. There's just, I really want people to observe what they're consuming and be like, is this something that's alive? So foods that are alive, right? That's what we're breaking it down to. So foods that are high in water, vitamins and minerals, and enzymes. The enzymes help you break it down so that you can absorb it better, right? Well, what about the high protein diet? Well, protein is great for two reasons. One, if you are an athlete, obviously helps with muscle development and wear and tear. We know this, recovery. But the second thing is, if you are someone who naturally struggles with weight gain, unwanted weight gain, then you might want to take a look at more of a high protein diet, because carbs and sugars, even if they're healthy, fruits and vegetables, if you're consuming too much of it, gets stored as glycogen, whatever you don't burn off. And if you're someone who doesn't exercise and you're noticing that you eat healthy, maybe you're vegan or whatever, but you eat a lot of produce, right? Fruits and vegetables, but you're not burning it off, you don't exercise, then I would encourage you to maybe decrease the consumption of your sugars and your carbs, even if they're healthy, and increase your consumption of your protein, because sugars and carbs get stored as glycogen in the muscles, which is actually going to cause you to hold on to more water, and thus you're going to hold on to more water weight, and thus your weight is going to go up, even though it's healthy. And if you are wanting a body composition change, because maybe you naturally gain weight, then you might want to think about that. And just by switching it up with protein, you do not hold on to water. So just something that you might want to give a try if you are working a desk job.
So, Ariel, one of the biggest things that I've heard you saying a couple times already today is it's really about taking inventory about yourself first. So if we're starting out, you said about know yourself and looking for signs, trying to understand us. And then of course, during. So, as we embark on switching foods, and this is the thing, gang, it has to be an experiment. You have to look at it like an experiment, because as Ariel said, there is no right or wrong. It is what works for you. And that takes trial and error, that takes experimentation, that takes truly, you need a white lab coat like Ariel has, because you have to understand and go in and look at the data, look at how you're feeling. Be aware of those stomach bloating after certain food items, and you make those changes. It truly is the analogy of being in the kitchen and finding that individual recipe that works for you by adding a little this and a little that and taking out this. So we've always said, me, Ariel and I, that the first step is always awareness. You have to have an awareness, and whether you are, as Ariel, going into doing a fitness competition, or me trying to achieve high level rowing performance, you have to know you first, and you have to do the work. So that's a big takeaway. Now, Ariel, let's talk about, if I may steer you a little bit into this concept of nutrient dense food. And break that down, because that's a big thing. I've gotten discussions with my clients about making choices based on what's the most bang for your buck, as you said, basically.
So when it comes to nutrients dense, you want to take a look at how can I get the most nutrition and the most vitamins, the most enzymes, all of that. So the best way to do that is actually eating it raw. So by putting it in a smoothie or making a dip. So by making there's different types of dips that you can have. You can have them with vegetables, you can have them with fruit, you can have them with grain-free crackers, right? Or introducing a really dense smoothie where you can put all of your different ingredients. If you work with a really good supplement company, then that's another way to bring back certain things. Because I know in the fitness industry, there's a lot of beautiful, nutritious fruits and vegetables that we don't consume, even though they're healthy, because they make you hold on to water, right? And so you still need to get your dense nutrition. So we'll get that in a form of a supplement or a powder. And so it's still going to provide you with maybe not the full benefit, but at least partial benefit. If you are somebody that is educated in the realm of veganism, there is so much nutrition that you can get out of an alkaline diet and out of just understanding your sprouts or understanding the seasons of food. There's called seasonal eating, understanding food combining, right? There's certain foods where maybe this squash contains these vitamins and minerals, and then these nuts and seeds contain this, and then these greens contain this, and maybe they all work really well together because they all lack what the other one carries, right? So understanding that, now that's where I come in and I can help you with that, but not everybody has that education, because every food group is like a library in itself. It has its own category of vitamins and minerals that it contains. So you don't need to load up on the same thing. You just need to diversify and get everything from the alphabet.
Right. You had mentioned calories, and obviously for people on a weight loss journey, it's caloric deficit, as you said. However, we see, even me in my background, have seen people making choices based on the lesser of two caloric items coming in, which may yield a lot less nutrients and a lot less sustainability, but the calories are low. So I think maybe shedding some light on that in terms of some of the pitfalls that people encounter.
It's a great question, and it is something that people struggle with. I will get clients where they come in and they're really trying to maintain X amount of calories. So they'll go and they'll overlook things like diet pop because there's 0 calories, or they'll overlook, 0 calorie sweeteners or 0 calorie syrups or things like that. So you need to take also into consideration that your body is alive and your body actually interacts with toxins. There is a monthly toxic overload. You have 75 trillion cells. All your cells turn over every 25 days. So every 25 days, whatever you eat and drink becomes the next generation of cells, and it will also impact your daily energy levels. So if you're only consuming toxic food and toxins, it's going to make you toxic. Your cells become toxic. And so what happens is now you have low vibrational food and low vibrational energy, but you're expecting to have high output. So that's like picking up a charger for your phone at the dollar store versus going into Rogers and getting a good quality iPhone charger. We know iPhone chargers, there's good quality and there's bad quality. A good quality will charge your phone, a bad quality will be plugged in and nothing's happening, right? So if you are someone that is eating in a calorie deficit and you feel like garbage, take a look at the quality of your food. Does it follow certain standards of food? Or is it in more of a toxic category on its own? So look for things like food coloring, carbonation, high salt levels, dye, gluten, aspartame, artificial sugars, colors, and sweeteners, binders, certain oils that are binders, right? So there's so much that you want to take a look at, because there can be a lot of people that are consuming in a calorie deficit, but their inflammation is going up.
Sure.
And they're getting very frustrated because they're like, I'm eating 500, maybe 1,000 calories a day. My metabolic rate is 1,500, which means I'm in a deficit of 500 calories a day, and I'm not losing weight. I get this all the time. Or I look puffy. The puffiness is actually a correlation that now you're consuming so many toxins, your body can't detox faster than the toxins are entering. So your body is putting up mucus and water in between the membranes, creating more space, making you look puffy, making you hold on to water weight, because your body doesn't want to create toxins that are running in the bloodstream. It doesn't want to poison itself. If you poison yourself long enough, you'll get puffy. And we see this all the time, right? So we want to take into consideration the quality of the food that we're consuming, and then also making sure it's in a calorie deficit. So that's why introducing green vegetables are great, right? They're low calories, they're high dense foods. Introducing some of the superfoods, right? Introducing different types of adaptogens, different types. These are all 0 calorie, right? If you were to consume adaptogens, there's no calories, but it's also going to prevent you from going through burnout, and it's a better choice than taking a Red Bull or an energy drink, right?
Right.
So I would encourage you to take a look at the things that you're consuming that are highly toxic, but they're low calorie, and that's why you're consuming it. And maybe make that switch for something that is still low calorie, but is alkaline for the body instead of acidic.
I think too, it's important, I feel, for everyone to have this discussion with themselves to say, what do I want from my food, honestly? And what I mean by that is, again, as you said, know yourself. Like, what do you want? Do you want optimal performance, health, more energy, just to be able to look a certain, like a specific certain way, or just be comfortable this way, but actually have more energy, better mood stabilization, all of these things? I feel like you have to get clear on those things first, and then create your middle lane, as I always talk about in my coaching, your middle lane of what that is. You can deviate and enjoy life, but it has to be in that lane, and enjoy your food choices. It has to be in that lane. Outside of that is your non-negotiable stuff, your boundaries. You cannot deviate, right? And so not everybody has to have strict choices that don't fulfill them. It's not about that, but it's about knowing what you want. What are you willing to let go of, or what are you willing to do to feel a certain way? Because I truly believe that nutrition is the fundamental thing for all of us, period. And with my partner, we joke all the time, because she's a foodie, and she'll be the first to tell you she's a foodie. And I've always looked at things like fuel. That's just the way I've grown up, and the way that I've been operating as an athlete. So it's interesting now. My middle lane has changed a little bit as I've decided to enjoy certain things, and hopefully I'm shifting her a little bit too. But my point is find that middle lane.
Yes, I think we have to be realistic with our goals, and also be realistic with the fact that our goals change, right? Just like the seasons change. You have 4 seasons in the year. So are you in a growing phase? Are you trying to grow muscle, baby, whatever that might be? Or are you trying to lose? Or are you trying to maintain? Or are you trying to support? Maybe you're trying to support your health, your mental health, your blood sugar. Or are you trying to recover? And I think what happens is we forget that we have to eat differently based on the goal that we have. If I'm treating somebody with cancer, and I'm treating a bodybuilder, and I'm treating somebody who's obese, the diet is completely different for all 3. But what happens is we go on Google and we look at unrealistic pictures of people and unrealistic pathways. Yeah. And we think that the goal and the pathways are all the same. And the problem is we're having uneducated people give us information that doesn't serve us as an individual.
Right. And perhaps isn't even sustainable long term. And I think, well, I know what you're about, and what I'm about is creating a new norm. What is the new homeostasis of the way that I want to live, operate, eat, play, whatever it is? And how do we set ourselves up for that, so that it becomes the new normal in how we operate, right?
Yeah. I actually had a client come in and we wanted to figure out what is the best type of nutrition that he needs. And we actually did 30 days vegan, 30 days vegetarian, 30 days paleo, 30 days carnivore, and 30 days standard American diet. And we were able to discover, based on his lifestyle and his stress and his sleep and his exercise level, all of that, what the best was for him. So I would encourage you to making sure that your food meets the requirements of actual food. It's not packaged, it's real, right? And then also take a look at the portioning of it so that you're getting diversification. You don't want to just eat, a whole avocado, that's not a meal, or a whole apple, that's not a meal. You want to make sure you're getting all of your macros met and all of your vitamins and minerals met per meal. Like, then keeping the meals small because you don't want to overload the system, right? And so just keeping that into consideration, and that way you're getting you're diversifying. You're also getting what your body needs based on the phase of life that you're in, and see how your gut responds, right? And a lot of people don't realize, but you're supposed to have a bowel movement once or twice a day. So certain foods will actually slow down your digestion. You don't want that. You want to make sure you're digesting your food properly. Otherwise, that food is not the right food for your gut right now. Either A, we need to work on stabilizing your gut, or B, it just doesn't agree with you, right? So either A, your gut is weak, or B, it's not synergistic. So just keeping a couple things into consideration, and just know that, there are professionals here that are wanting and willing to help you and navigate you on that path and give you the proper guidance, because sometimes it can be very confusing and overwhelming. Heck, I was confused and overwhelmed when I first started, right? Yeah. Everybody is, especially if you're new to this field of nutrition, macronutrients, calories in, calories out, the gym, what the heck? And then you throw in some hormones just to mix it all up. It can be very confusing. So,
and life's stressors anyway. Yeah. It's a cocktail for implosion. Yes. The important thing, though, is for anyone out there that people like Ariel and what we do at Vitality Wellness is that we can help you in the experimentation process. We can guide, we can help create that recipe, right, Ariel?
Yes. Yes, we have the ability to test your gut, to test your hormones, to do quantum energetic food and allergy testing now. This is a new treatment that we're offering. So we can actually see what your body works well with, what your body does not work well with, and what areas need support, what body systems need support, right? So maybe you're lacking or maybe you're overloading, but we'll be able to get that information. And that way we are testing, not guessing.
Awesome. I like that. Testing, not guessing. Great. Okay. Ariel, I know we got to wrap up here. We're actually over time. Hopefully your clients aren't waiting. However, this was a great dive into this concept of fuel, concept of knowing yourself, experimentation. It's not just about looking. It's also about feeling. It's about performing. Handling life, motherhood, fatherhood, sisterhood, everything that comes with it, business, being an entrepreneur. How do we get ourselves to perform optimally in the arena of life? And you and I are both advocates that food and fuel and understanding what works for us is a fundamental cornerstone, really, to our performance.
Yes.
Great.
Great. Thank you so much.
I know. Thank you so much for anyone. Again, she is the guru. She can help you understand. Don't hesitate. Just pick up the phone, pick up a cursor key, type in a little email, inquire, and she will provide you some insights no matter what. All right? Great. Ariel, have an amazing week.
You too.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.